So, my name is Michael Randolph, and I'm with the Center for Nonprofit and Community Development. We were created in 2011. Tonight's video that I'm going to present to you is one of the up and coming nonprofits that we are looking at working with to build that capacity. This particular organization is looking at doing international work and changing the environment. But we work with nonprofits from around the country. And we do this by providing technical support to start up nonprofits and existing nonprofits to enhance, increase, and strengthen their capacity to service their clients. 8 out of 10 nonprofits that are getting started will fail within the first 2 to 3 years of operation without the proper infrastructure. So we particularly work with those nonprofits that are starting to exist, thinking about existing, and those nonprofits that are in existence. We specialize in developing social economic strategies that focus on neighborhood planning and economic development initiatives. We use what's known as a next generation new school approach to empowering residents of poor communities using a resident driven community comprehensive initiative that produce solutions to transform their community. In other words, a bottom up. And we say new school and next generation because everything that has come so far and strategies that have come so far are strategies that's based on 30 years ago approaches with no new blood, no new with no new focus on changing the narrative. We focus on national models and best practice approaches. What's critical for nonprofits that are just coming up is that as you begin to develop your program, you develop those programs that are based on a best practice and has national implications. We work with you to create those type of programs. To date, we have provided technical assistance to over 2,500 nonprofits, government agencies, faith-based faith-based groups, businesses, and individuals. And we provided technical assistance to over 330 nonprofits nationally. And that assistance consists of preparing the documents in order to establish that nonprofit. Our approach to financial sustainability is framed around a social enterprise model. That model teaches nonprofits how to focus on operating like a business and, more importantly, not to depend solely on grants and subsidies. So I'm going to start video. And this video again was a conversation with a group that's coming up. You know, if I'm coming today, that's another nonprofit that's doing something somewhere in the world. New York, we did that yesterday. This time we're coming back to my state, Florida, a group that's doing some things not only here in the state of Florida, but they international. So look, let me step out the way. I'm gonna have this group introduce themselves. Make sure you let people know who you are, where you are, because again, this is gonna be broadcast all over the United States. That being said, sir, for you, what do you do? Why do you do it? And how effective are you in doing what you do?
All right. Well, my name is Daniel Bursch. It's an honor to be with you today, Michael, Mr. Randolph. And, I really appreciate the time you're taking with us in our organization. So much gratitude to you for all the good work that you continue to do for everybody around the world. This was founded approximately 14 years ago, a vision that came from a source of godliness and holiness to give back to the world and in compassion and love. When there's people in need, we want to be there to help them find shelter and help them get food, especially when there's a natural disaster. And so that was the main reason we started this 14 years ago. And so it's been a journey ever since, a beautiful journey
Start
centered on
off with
God
the
and love.
name of the. Can you start off with the name of your nonprofit?
Certainly, the name is Enviro Community Living Center, and we're
Mhm.
also working under Enviro Projects International and EPI. And in Hawaii, we have a surname called Kaiulu Kanaka, which means People's Community Village in Hawaiian. So in Hawaii, in the last 2 years, we've been feeding 350 people a day hot meals. And we sponsored a grassroots organization in Hawaii called Hungry Heroes Hawaii. They needed a legitimate 501c3 to sponsor them. They had already been doing wonderful works without any help from anybody, just working with the community. And so they wanted to get a grant, but they were not a legitimate 501. So we sponsored them. We've been sponsoring them for 2 years. The original founder, Stephen Calkins, decided to come on our board of directors. And he is facilitating on our board of directors in Hawaii while running his grassroots charity as well. So they're doing really wonderful, wonderful work in Maui, Hawaii. My son David, who is 25, also happens to live there as well on 5 beautiful acres. He's a farmer and a musician. And so they're involved now with the mayor of Maui, and they're working with Red Cross and FEMA to develop temporary shelters now. So they're looking at possibly garnering some more grants to work into that space and time. And I will continue to sponsor that group's organizations as they're doing wonderful work. I have not gotten any grants, particularly directly for Enviro Community Living Center as of yet, but I am looking forward to doing that. But I want to make sure that everything is legal and above board before I move forward here. And what we're doing here in Florida, Michael, is developing a TV show called Enviro Projects International. And we have affiliates who are stationed in Israel, Australia, Uganda, Rome, Italy, and they're all on our board of directors here in Florida, even though they live in different countries. That was quite intentional. God's plan to be able to connect people together on a global level. And so I'll be doing a lot of traveling over the course of the next year or so. And it was a blessing for me to be able to work with such amazing people. In Rome, Italy, we have a U.S. diplomat named William Hines and his wife, who's a countess, who's going to be helping us also in Israel. And we have a gentleman named Kalman Greenberg, who is a scribe. He writes the Bible, the Torah in Israel. He has 2 beautiful twin daughters. And they're weathering the storm in Israel right now. And he is on our board of directors. We'll be registering the charity out there to bring good things forthcoming in Israel. And then in Australia, we have Tora Klein, who has 532 acres, a homestead where she and her 3 daughters and her husband Kevin occupy that land and live off the grid. Absolutely amazing, amazing family. She has a healthcare business and she's a nutritionist. But from that point moving forward, I'm going to let everyone else speak. I don't want to take up too much space. So, Christy, if you could speak a little bit about things, how we met, maybe about what you do for us.
Thank you. My name's Christy Abbott, and I am the on the board of directors for the Enviro Projects Florida. And I recently, well, 2 years ago, Dan introduced me to Brian Isabre, who was managing an orphanage in Uganda, Jinja, Uganda. And he entered an entrepreneur program that I'm a coach on. And our director was gathered some clothing, and I took it there to the orphanage where he had a team of people in our entrepreneur program. One of them was a papaya farmer, and he is now managing a bulk food store through our program. He, was able to use the tools that we teach in our entrepreneur program to manage a store. A chicken farmer is now the store owner. Mm-hmm. And they all support the orphanage. Mm-hmm. And a fourth man was a tomato farmer, and he is now a graphics school owner. He teaches computer graphics to the teenage boys. So through our entrepreneur program, these four men that I was introduced to by Daniel are now actively have created businesses in their community. And so I'm very close with the orphanage, and I got to meet all the children. I just recently returned from there, and on my journey, I also met Sarah, who we were speaking about briefly. She is also in our entrepreneur program, and she has purchased an oven, and I'm creating a GoFundMe for her to hire women and train women to make bread to deliver twice a week to a woman's group who these women are mothers.
Can we hold on for 1 second? Can we hold on for 1 second?
Disabled.
Can you give people an email so they can help support that GoFundMe that you're trying to do? So give an email so they can help to help with that GoFundMe page. Keep in mind, you're talking to people around the country. They got money, so let's get some money out their pocket so they can help for a good cause like yours. And I'm sorry. So go ahead. Give
well,
us
I haven't created the GoFundMe, but it will be on my Facebook page. My name's Christy Abbott, and my email is Christy CRISTY dot the permaculture guild @gmail.com. And of course, we are accepting donations for that as well, and I'll be setting that up here in the next 2 weeks. So, it's January 19th now. So, we appreciate any assistance we can get for that. And then Ali in Uganda is also on our board of directors.
This one thing I want to throw in there so folks that's listening to.
Say that again?
I'm going to say something to the people that's listening to this presentation. this is a 501c3 organization. That means any funds that you give is tax deductible. I'm sorry, continue.
Well, our tax deductible organization is with Ali. He's also on the board of directors
okay.
for Enviro Projects International
Yeah,
through Uganda. And I have a GoFundMe with him. We're creating a permaculture school and an eco tour villa
mhm,
on his property that I've been supporting here for the last 2.5 years.
okay.
And that's primarily the visit to Uganda that I went. I visited his permaculture farm and he's also a permaculture educator, and he's
Mhm,
trained many people in the principles of permaculture, and
mm,
he toured me around their farms, his students' farms, and those people have created businesses for themselves through permaculture practices. One woman I interviewed, she now is growing peanuts, roasting
mm,
peanuts, selling peanuts to the local people. She has a business. She sells peanut butter and,
Mhm.
she's making all kinds of things. I recently while I was there, I did a soap workshop, and she's got goats. She's going to be making goat soap, and, they grow loofah. And so they've created this beautiful loofah soap product that they're now supporting their community in. So,
Beautiful.
That's a lot of
uh,
awesome things that you're doing. But let's get to the next person because I know you're probably gonna be here
okay.
all night
Yes.
saying your story. I love it. I love it. I love it. But let's get to the next person.
Thank you.
Sir, who are you?
Okay. I won't hog all the time. Go ahead, Tom. Thomas is
It's all
doing
right,
some
Chris.
awesome stuff too.
Okay, my name is Thomas A. Pellegrino. I have been in the business environment for about 35 years. I'm semi-retired right now. I'm originally from the financial services side in the investment world. Then I moved over to the health insurance side of the world. My degrees are, in IT, so a lot of my knowledge is in finance and financial systems. So that's the reason why Daniel brought me on, because I do have a lot of business savvy. I got a lot of investment savvy. I run, 20, $30 million budgets. I've done multi-million dollar, you know, implementation. So I mean, and contracts that have been $200 million. So I mean, I have the experience from a business standpoint. All right. So Daniel and I met, and he heard about the fact that I was putting together a fruit tree farm. Okay. And
Y'all coming with some very creative added projects here. So
yeah.
keep on talking, sir.
Okay.
See, like each
Uh,
one of you talking about something different, new
yeah.
and innovative.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So,
sir.
but
Continue.
let me get to it. So I'm building this fruit tree farm with the intention that 70% of it is going to be donated to the food shelters. So my wife and I plan on eating 20% of it, knowing that 10% is going to go to the varmints and, two-legged as well as four-legged varmints. And the remainder we're going to basically donate to the food shelters for the people who are, either destitute or homeless or just can't make the ends meet. Now, the timeline on this is roughly about 6 to 9 months from now. I will have it up and operational. I'm currently getting the ground prepped. Actually, I finished prepping the ground. I'm currently, getting the fruit trees put in, bringing them in at a 7-foot height. So they are going to be fruit ready by next season. Unfortunately, when you do that, the first harvest is always a small harvest. So I may not be giving a lot to the homeless the first season, but at least by the second season, I should be able to give them, a decent amount so that I can at least provide food for like 1 or 2 shelters. But the ultimate goal is that I will have 15 banana trees. Okay, and each banana tree produces 2 pups, and each pup grows in a year and 2 month period. So as that banana forest grows, I will start to have, what they call 15 to 20 foot clusters of bananas. That's what the trees are supposed to produce, which roughly is about 200 bananas per cluster. So I will be giving at least 1 cluster or 2 clusters per homeless shelter. Then I have a lot of various fruit trees, not just exotic, but the peaches and the apples and and the plums and all that. I have the standard trees, but I also are bringing in some exotics, which are your star fruit, which is very high in vitamin C and its antioxidants. I'm going to be doing the Bahamian cherries. I'm also going to be doing the Asian apples. I'm going to be doing the persimmons. Persimmons are very high in antioxidant. And I'm also, if anybody's ever heard of moringa, moringa is a miracle fruit type of tree. And when I say fruit, it's nuts. But you can eat the leaves, you can eat the nuts, you can crush them up and make a powder and a tree and all that. So I'm probably going to have roughly about 5 moringa trees within the next 2-year period. And those moringas, I'm definitely going to be giving the crushed nuts to the homeless shelters for them to use for their serving of tea. Now that moringa tea is antioxidant. It's very high in vitamin C. It's high in vitamin A. So it's got a couple of other vitamins. I'm just not 100% familiar with every single one, but all I know is it's called the miracle fruit. And then I actually am going to have some trees which they actually call miracle fruit trees, which produce a red berry. I'll have loquats, and I'll have a big variety of fruits. So this is a 9 years out till I'm sorry, 9 months out till I'm fully established, and then a year and a half out before I'm going to be able to fully give out, what would you call it? It'll probably be at least 2 baskets for a homeless shelter, which in one basket holds roughly about 50 to 75 pieces. And most of the homeless shelters don't, at least the ones I've attended over the last 2 years, they don't hand out more than like 30 or 40 pieces of fruit. So I know that people will be able to get either 1 or 2 fruit out of the basket, along with the other food that's being served. I'm not the sole provider, but it's a good a harvest, yielding capability to them. And that's really all I was going to do at this point, because that's what the Holy Spirit told me to do, and that's what I'm going to do.
I had to jump in and say, please stop. But look, I have 2 questions for each of you. The first question I want to ask is, why do you do what you do? What is your personal reason? Because I'm sure each of you can be doing something different. And then the next question is, what would the world look like if you wasn't doing what you're doing?
You want me to go first? Or you want to go first, Christy?
No, you go.
Okay. I'd be retired. I'd be sitting in my backyard in my hot tub, and I'd be relaxing. That's exactly what I would be doing. Nothing else. Because I may look young, but I'm an old man. However, why am I doing this? I am inspired by the Holy Spirit to do this. And I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, religion. Dropped all that nonsense. Let me tell you something. When the Holy Spirit tells you to do something, you do what you're told. Okay? Daniel can confess to that one. I'm sure Christy can confess to that one too. When the Lord tells you to do something, you do as you're told. Because at the end of the day, you want to stand before Jesus and have him say, well done, my good and faithful servant.
I'll put.
So what would the world look like in the area that you're working in if you wasn't there? What would the
Whoa.
world be like?
What would the world look like? Well, I can tell you one thing,
How
people
would
wouldn't
the
be
world-
getting that nutritious fruits that they normally wouldn't get in the homeless shelters and the food banks. I mean, my goal is to make sure that they get fruit that is high in antioxidant, high in vitamins and minerals. And it will help with their nutrition. It'll help with longevity, because the miracle fruit is supposed to help you with longevity as long as you drink the tea and eat the leaves. So the leaves can be put
So
into a
in other
salad.
words,
So they
in
got to
other
figure it
words,
out.
in other words, what you're saying is that you affect the quality of life of that individual from a health perspective. Because
Yes,
if
you
they
could say
didn't
that.
have good health, then they will have all kind of health, not being able to work, not being able to contribute to society. So actually, what the world will look like is a way sicker world. So who's next?
Possibly, yeah, yeah. Let's also think the bananas I'm going to give them is high in potassium, and potassium
Yes.
is good for muscle growth and that kind of stuff. So I mean,
Exactly.
you are giving them the ability to have better health. Yes.
Okay, next.
Go ahead, Christy.
Yeah, I do what I do because I also got a call from the universe. It sent me a message, and it continues to inspire me. When I look within my heart, I'm given gratitude for what I have, and it sends me on a path that I create in my visions.
Mhm.
So I'm inspired by myself, and listening to what my heart tells me. When I
That's
pray every day,
awesome.
and when I'm thankful every minute for what I have and how I'm able to serve communities alter
So what would
because
the
of this
world look
media
like?
right here.
What would the
It
world
would
look
it
like
would
if he wasn't doing what you was doing?
it would look the same.
I don't think so. I think what you bring to the table is people starting their own business, people having self-esteem, building a strong family. So I think if your service wasn't there, there would be
And
a lot of
communities.
negative that's going
I'm a
on.
community builder.
Yeah. So yeah,
Thank you.
there will be a lot of without you doing
Thank
what you
you.
do, there would be a major defect, especially in terms when you talk about helping people to start their own business and those other things that you help, the GoFundMe page. So, ma'am, if you wasn't here, there would be a lot of negative. So let's go to the next person and let's find
Aw,
out why
okay.
he does what he does and what would the
Thank you.
world look like if he wasn't doing what he was doing.
Well, thank you, Michael. So, what inspires me is life itself and wanting to give back something after I'm no longer here. Kind of like that story, Michael, where someone plants a tree when he's an older person. He knows he's not going to sit under that shade, but it really lights up his heart to know that someone's going to sit under that beautiful tree. And that's kind of my feeling too, is, I want to exist here in this space and time and give something back after I'm no longer here. So that's the main reason why I did this. And of course, higher than that is to glorify the creator and be grateful for being here to exist. What would the world look like if I wasn't here? It would be a much sadder, more hopeless place. I've connected a lot of people together through the Father, globally, and it's been a journey for 15 years now. And so I'm just very grateful to be a part of
Daniel
something.
and I were definitely connected by God, that's for sure.
Thank you, Christy. I'm just grateful to be a
Thank
part of
you,
something.
Daniel.
Thank Father. I'm grateful to be a part of something that I had no idea was going to turn out to be this big, Michael. Originally, I just wanted help in my community, and the Lord has His own plans, and I'm so glad that I follow the Lord and not just my vision and my inspiration, because the Lord's plans and the Lord's thoughts are much bigger and brighter than mine. So I think the world would be a much less hope, more hopeless. We bring a lot of hope to people when they're at their worst time. We're really projected to help people when there's natural disasters. So, like in Hawaii, we're feeding almost 350 people a day because we sponsored that grassroots organization, Hungry Heroes Hawaii, and I will send you those links. I wasn't prepared, unfortunately. My email,
That's
if
okay.
anyone
That's
wants.
okay. I'll get that. I just want the world to see who you are and what you do. Because we can get into the details, but I was so impressed with your group and what you was doing. So let me share this with you. And let me share this with the world. These are ordinary people that's doing extraordinary things. That's why every time I talk about nonprofits, I say nonprofit rocks. Here's an example of why nonprofit rocks. These individuals could be doing anything that they want to do other than being committed to saving other people's lives. This is what we talk about ordinary people that's doing extraordinary things. And I know it was kind of like elongated with this, folks, but I wanted you to hear the real story. I have one final question, and anybody can ask this question. The name of your nonprofit, how did it come about? What's the
Um,
story behind it?
15 years ago, I
Yeah.
was watching a story on the news about Hurricane Katrina, and I watched a story about a woman getting raped inside a gym, because that was the only shelter they had in New Orleans at the time. And another person got shot and killed, and it took 3 weeks for them to get water, and it really touched my heart. And I prayed out to God, what should I do? And He said, you know, um, develop a charity and help people under natural disasters. And I wrote for 2 days straight. I was just inspired by the Holy Spirit, and then the name Enviro Community Living Center came to my heart, and that's how that came into play.
Wow, that's awesome. Because it's always a story behind the name. And I always ask folks, what's the story behind the name? Because a lot of times something has happened in that person's life to create that particular name of that particular organization. So we're about to go on the other side, but I wanted to, before we come out of this presentation here, now you do have a web page, is that correct? Could you give your how to contact you information? I know you have a web page and an email, but share with us how people can contact you and connect with you.
Absolutely. So I'm going to give out our main email for our student volunteers, because we're developing a docu-series about what we're doing called Enviro Projects International. And so if there's any students out there that want to participate, either through underwriting, creative writing, anything having to do with film, we'd love to have you. We can also offer you community service hours, and we can also pay you on a sliding scale as well. So if you want to reach out to us in that regard, our email is Enviro, that's spelled ENVIRO. And then it would be Enviro Project, singular, ENVIRO student team at gmail.com. And if you send me an email, I will put you in touch with faculty members at USF. One of our board members who's on our Florida board is actually a faculty member at USF Tampa. His name is Professor Frank Pirtle. And he's been with us for almost 7 years now in the project. And he's sponsoring us at USF. And we're also working with other people currently to do cartoons and do artwork with us. So anyone that wants to be
Let me jump
involved,
in real quick. Let me jump in real quick. What if someone wasn't a college student, but they wanted to donate time to your organization. So are you open to anybody, or is this at this time only limited to students?
No, absolutely. We would love to get any support from the community, either here locally in Florida or anywhere within the United States or globally as well, because it is a global movement that we're developing as a TV series, ongoing TV series to let them know what we're doing in other areas. So please, anyone on the global community level or the local community level, feel free to email us. Our main website is being revamped right now, but let me give it anyways. If it seems like it's not up and running, it's because we're doing some more construction to that. It's Enviro, ENVIRO project.org, ENVIROPROJECT.org. And then if you want to get any 501c3 nonprofit receipts, I'm going to allow Thomas Pellegrino to give his email out, because he handles all of our financials. As far as if someone wants to donate money to us directly, Thomas can send them a receipt for that. So I'll let Thomas speak on that.
Yeah, TOMP11566@gmail.com. That's the one that I use to monitor for this business.
And then you'd be able to generate receipts for people if they want a tax exemption. He
Yes.
has all that
I have
available.
it already established in the system.
Oh yeah, see you folks, you see these people not playing. They
No,
coming to
we
you
don't play.
not
We
only
don't play.
with the passion, but the professionalism and
Yeah.
skill set ready to make it happen. So folks, I hope you enjoyed this night's presentation. Again, these folks are all over the place. So I want to reach out to those individuals that are nonprofits that are just getting started and you're struggling. Contact us. We provide affordable services in all phases of the nonprofit. As you know, the three phases of a nonprofit is the emergent stage. This is when you're just getting started. You file all your legal paperwork and you become what we call legal. You create your business compliance. Second stage is the intermediate stage. This is where you become a little bit more formalized. This is when you begin to create your policies and your procedures. You're dealing with the issues of what personnel you're going to have, job description, and things of that nature, plus some. And then in the final stage, it's when you're really ready to open that door. This is when you got your 5-year plan together, your strategic plan, and those other critical components that you need to be a successful nonprofit. So if you are a new nonprofit that's getting started, we will provide you with all of the service you need to get that nonprofit started, no matter what part of the country or the world that you're in. If you are an existing nonprofit and you didn't seem to be getting anywhere in terms of finance, and you're looking for someone that can help you to take you to the next level of bringing in finance. If you're a nonprofit that's getting started and you need somebody to bring structure to your organization in order to be appealable to our funders. We provide an array of different workshops. I think we have something like 15 different workshops, from how to start a nonprofit, how to operate a nonprofit, how to finance a nonprofit, how to grow a nonprofit, how to do a business plan, how to do a strategic plan, how to do federal procurement. I could go on in the list of things that we provide. So reach out to us and let's do some business. Again, we provide affordable services to nonprofits um, throughout the nation, throughout the world, as a matter of fact, but primarily in the United States. So email us at Center for Nonprofit and Community at gmail.com. Again, that's Center for Nonprofit and Community at gmail.com. Or visit our webpage. That webpage, and I made it really simple, is www.michaelrandolph.us. Looking forward to engaging with you. Uh, like I say, nonprofit rocks. What you're doing out there in our community is going to benefit so many people. Thank you.